You're a mean one, Mrs. Grunch. You really are a We are sitting at day 22 and somehow I've gone this entire time without once talking about a Banjo-Kazooie hack. Considering it's one of my favorite platformers with a long history of excellent ROM hack projects, it's weird that I haven't brought up a single one. So on the 22nd day of Christmas, I'm gonna fix that. Now, Mark Kirko has been in the game for 300 years. This dude is basically synonymous with Banjo-Kazooie hacks, so you can never go wrong with one of these as far as I can tell. I wanted to get to it last year, but sadly I left it too late and it was no longer in season. Not that that should have stopped me, but hey, the holidays can be stressful. So with all that nonsense out of the way, it's time to talk about how the Gruntch stole Christmas. Not on my watch, she won't. I love this holiday. How the Gruntch Stole Christmas follows Banjo and Kazooie on their quest to save Christmas from the Gruntch, who lives just north of Whoville. In case you're not familiar with the original story of the Grinch, it follows an angry green guy who hates Christmas for reasons that nobody really knows, and in the process of trying to ruin Christmas for the town of Whoville, he stumbles upon the true meaning of Christmas that exists beyond the surface level commercialism and gift giving in the realm of love and family and stuff. Something that always bugged me about this story is that it is never once explained why he hates Christmas other than the fact that he's an asshole with a small heart, which is also never explained. I have to wonder why it is that he has this disposition. Does he have some kind of childhood trauma that most people aren't aware of? In the Jim Carrey movie, he was bullied as a child, which drove him into the mountains to be alone for several decades. Is that canon? Or is it really just supposed to be up to interpretation? Well, in any case, the Gruntch takes a number of artistic liberties. For one thing, Grunty's heart does not in fact grow at all throughout the course of the game. But according to Cheeto, her butt grows 3 sizes, which, hey man, if anything's gotta grow, I can think of worse things. What? I think what I loved about Banjo-Kazooie the most is that these characters are so goofy and charming that you can pretty much put them in any situation or world and they'll find a way to fit in. And considering the characters were already intended to be based loosely on the whimsy of classic Disney films and whatnot, and the childlike world of Dr. Seuss is not super far removed from that to begin with, albeit a tiny bit more psychedelic, Banjo and Kazooie are kind of a perfect fit for a cheerful Zeus-inspired Christmas setting. I just realized I've been saying Zeus this entire time and not Seuss. Let's just pretend I've been saying Seuss. One of my favorite details are the nice illustrations telling you the story so far. It really helps legitimize it as a Dr. Seuss story, and I gotta say, Mount Grumpet is the funniest thing I've ever read, and I do not understand why. The game almost feels like Freezeezy Peak, the Squeakwool. Everybody in the town has some sort of problem pertaining to Christmas, like Bottles dropping all his groceries around town, or Captain Blubber losing all the Christmas mail. I sure hope he wasn't delivering a PS5 because that shit is definitely stolen if he left it somewhere. Jinjos are missing presents and Boggy is being a lazy fat ass and letting his children get lost in the snowy forest. There's a Who from Whoville who is trying to get a new Christmas tree and assigns you the task of collecting 8 Christmas tokens to buy one. We got blue Christmas presents full of collectibles and 2D ice skating in a circle indefinitely. Everything is covered in snow and the snow continues to fall from the sky. The atmosphere is impeccable. And my favorite detail is Banjo's house, which is all decked out for Christmas, and it seems as though they all got Xboxes, just in case they ever decide to make another Banjo-Kazooie game and they need an Xbox to play it. Don't ever give up, guys. You gotta have the most faith when things are the most hopeless. And brother, at this point, it's pretty damn hopeless. The foundation for a Christmas-themed Banjo-Kazooie hack was already there because of Freezeezy Peak, so it has every advantage. One of my favorite little details is one that is very easy to miss, but in Nabnut's house there's a book with a picture of Kazooie's foot on it, and if you jump on it, it turns out that it's a very cleverly disguised shock jump pad. That's one of the coolest details I've ever seen. The dialogue also never fails to be really funny, and one of my favorite parts is when you press a switch to spawn a token from Lago, only to find that there's nothing there when you go, and Kazooie makes a crack about how ROM hackers don't know how to program games. You know, Kazooie, that's pretty mean. These ROM hackers work really hard on these expansions and basically provide them for free. When have you ever made a game, huh? What gives you the right to criticize these games? Christmas tokens replace jiggies in this game, and there's a really neat feature where instead of stopping the game to show you the animation like how it is in the base game, it just spins around your head and allows you to continue like in Banjo-Tooie. The game is split into 2 acts. The first takes place in Whoville and focuses on directly fixing the problems of the townspeople, and the second act is to confront the Gruntch in her lair, focusing more on platforming and action sequences. Both sections have 10 jiggies and 100 notes, so it's not a massive hack, but it's sizable enough to be worth playing. Gameplay-wise, it's fundamentally entirely the same as the original game, with one exception. For possibly the first time ever in a Banjo-Kazooie ROM hack, we have a legitimate stealth section where you have to walk very slowly to avoid waking up Grunty in her lair. Yes, there was the part in Banjo-Tooie where you had to avoid waking up Snaky Jakey, but to see a stealth system with a noise meter thing in Banjo-Kazooie is pretty impressive. There's even a part where one of them says, if the player is using a keyboard, we're screwed. That's really funny. There's also a neat part where there's a room you can't enter normally and you have to activate a cauldron through these bars and then enter through a different cauldron of the same color. That kind of really cool outside-the-box puzzle solving is something I associate with Banjo-Tooie, which I know I may be in the minority, but I actually prefer that game over the original, but hey, they're both pretty ballin'. And speaking of ballin', this music is pretty ballin' too. How the Grunch Stole Christmas is a game that almost feels like it could be an official Banjo-Kazooie game. It has a comparable level of detail and humor, while also being very true to the Christmas spirit. It's a hack that is perfect for the season that I can definitely recommend, unless you want coal in your stocking. I'm still making that list, boyos. Ho ho ho! Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to tune in tomorrow because there'll be ice cream. Yes, ice cream, indeed. Perhaps it's not the right weather for it, but hey, there's never a bad time for ice cream. Am I right or am I right? Ho ho.